Just like any other habit, for you to change, you have to stop the old habit in order for you to get used to the new habit. Same thing with weight loss. 6 things that I had to stop doing in order to lose the 35 pounds that I lost. The first thing is I stopped guesstimating and not being serious about watching how much food I was consuming. So instead of guessing how much rice is on my plate or was on my plate, or how much those potatoes on my plate were worth, I started to weigh my food. I started to have a better understanding of how much an ounce of rice was and what it looked like. Some of these things, we already know because we've done it before. Like I said, I had lost weight, regained it, and lost weight again. So a lot of these things I was already aware. But as it goes, you lose track and you get distracted, or you become oblivious of what you're supposed to do. So I stopped guesstimating my food. I also stopped underestimating the impact of snacks. So instead of stealing 4 pieces of chips from someone's bag and assume that it didn't count, I started to take that into consideration. Instead of having a whole bag of chips, I would just have a small pack that I could count. So that was the first thing that I stopped doing, guessing how much food I was consuming. The second thing that I stopped doing was buying foods that I didn't need. If you have children, for instance, sometimes it can be difficult to not buy certain foods. A typical example is chips and candy and all that. For us, we're actually empty nesters and our kids are grown up. So in actual sense, there's no need to buy chips if you don't like chips, or candy if you want to stop eating candy. But I always still bought them because one child might be coming home, or I will anticipate that when they come home, they're going to want to eat some ice cream. Stop buying things that they didn't ask me to buy, and I allowed them to do their own shopping. So that was the second thing that I stopped doing. The third thing that I stopped doing was shopping while I was hungry. If you go to do your grocery shopping when you're hungry, you buy things that you even normally would not buy. So if you're going shopping, please make sure that you've eaten, or take something with you that you can eat before you step into the grocery store. I've done it so many times. I don't even like gummy worms, for instance, but when I'm hungry, I would buy them. And of course, I'll eat some and then I'll get fed up. But if you go shopping with, when you're not hungry, the chances are that you will just stick to the list and you're not going to buy anything that you didn't plan to buy. So that was the third thing I stopped doing that helped me lose weight. By the way, my name is IJ and I'm a 55-year-old mother of 4 living in the north of Texas. If you're finding what I'm doing useful or helpful, please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and share to your friends who will find this video very helpful. The fourth thing I stopped doing that helped me lose weight was to make sure that whenever I left the house to go to work, that I packed my lunch. So whether it was going to work or running an errand or going on a trip, I always had my lunch bag with me, which would have the snacks that I would eat on my way. And those snacks are calculated snacks. So I would know how much or how many calories are in the snacks, or how many grams of proteins are in the snacks. So I always made sure that I had my snacks. So whenever I was hungry, I knew exactly what I was eating. Number 5 is that I stopped eating out so often. I never really ate out that often, but I reduced my frequency even further. And obviously the reason is because when you go out to the restaurants, a lot of the time you have to eat whatever is prepared. I know that many restaurants nowadays will tell you how many calories or give you the nutritional information of their meals. Sometimes you may not like what's on the menu, or you may prefer to eat their normal foods. Other times, yes, they might state those nutritional facts, but you know that when they're preparing the foods, you can't always be sure how much oil they put on the salmon, for instance. You don't know how much butter they put in the mashed potatoes, or how much dressing that they put on the dressing. Yes, they might tell you that they're going to put low-calorie dressing on the salad, but you don't know how much. Um, these are being made by human beings, and you know that to err is to human. So, in order to avoid that, I stopped eating out so often. And I am also someone who believes that when you want to eat out, that you should enjoy your meal. So, I tend to prefer to eat the normal foods on the menu as opposed to the healthy section of the menu. I mean, what's the point eating out when you can't have a good time and eat what you really want? So I eat out and I enjoy my meals. And if I feel that I can't afford to eat out that often because of the damage that might do to my routine, then I will not go. So that was another thing that I stopped doing that helped me lose weight. And the sixth and final thing that I stopped doing that helped me lose weight was I stopped eating so late. So now the latest I like to eat at is 6 p.m. I know that that's not always practical for everybody because of the kind of work that you do or because of what your schedule is, but that's my time to stop eating. I've mentioned severally, I do intermittent fasting, and that's something that I'll probably talk about at some point, but I stop eating around about 6. And you know, we're supposed to allow 2 hours between our last meal and when we go to sleep so that we can allow the body to take care of the food. Many people suffer from gastritis, from acid reflux, from indigestion, and all kinds of other discomforts. So when you eat and then you allow time for the food to digest, you tend to avoid these problems. Also, if you have insulin resistance, then you understand that exercise is very important. So you have to have your meal and allow time maybe to go for a short walk to get rid of the excess glucose in your blood. Because if you don't do that and you eat too late, what happens is that um, the glucose from the meal or the starch, carbohydrates from the meal that you had would hang around in your blood overnight. And you know, when you do the A1C, it's a 3-month history of what your blood glucose has been over that time. So if you consistently do this where you have a lot of glucose for a long period of time, which is what would happen if you eat late consistently, then you will find that when you do your A1C, your numbers are not going to be where they should be. Watch this video, which tells you what my 7 favorite foods for weight loss. And until the next time, keep being healthy, and I'll see you again. Goodbye.